Good morning, my friends, and welcome back to the Morning Mindset. I hope you're ready. It's time for us to get our minds aligned with the truth of God. And before we get into it today, wrapping up some of 1 Peter chapter 5, I wanted to give you some information about perhaps our first ever Morning Mindset event. My wife and my daughter and I, as we travel, are going to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in February and March of 2020. And first of all, would love to meet you. So let me know if you live in the area. We would love to meet you. You can reach out, Carrie@carriegreen.com. But we are also considering having a Morning Mindset meetup of some sort. We don't know exactly what the details would be, but we would like to gauge the interest of you as Morning Mindset listeners. So if you're interested in attending some kind of Morning Mindset meetup where we would meet each other, spend time together, perhaps have some encouragement from the Word, please reach out. You can let me know of your interest at Carrie@carriegreen.com. All right, we're diving back in to 1 Peter chapter 5. Looks like we don't have many verses left in 1 Peter. It's been quite a long trip through the book, but it's been a very good one. Today we are looking at chapter 5, beginning in verse number 8. Peter has been giving us some final instructions here. And the last thing that we heard from Peter was that we are to cast all of our anxieties on the Lord, knowing that He cares for us. And then his next instruction in verse 8 says, be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Resist him, firm in your faith, knowing that the same kinds of suffering are being experienced by your brotherhood throughout the world. Now let's stop there for a moment and think this through. That very first phrase, be sober-minded, that could not be more visual in my mind than anything else that Peter could say. Being sober-minded is an exhortation to think things through well, to think things through wisely. And you can tell it is what he means by the contrasting image. What I mean by that is this. When you think of someone being sober, let's just take that word for a moment, it is the opposite of being drunk, correct? And we all have been around or have seen a characterization on TV at the very least of a person who is drunk. And that condition is not one that is always very pleasant to be around. The person doesn't think straight. They perceive things differently. They may be brash and insensitive. But one thing is for certain, they do not see reality the way that it is. And that is what Peter is trying to steer us away from by saying, be sober-minded. Because being sober means you are not drunk. It means you are fully aware of what's going on around you, and your senses are attuned to the environment and the circumstances that you're facing. And my exhortation to us from what Peter is saying is that we need to learn, in our culture especially, how to be sober-minded, because we live in a culture that is very trivial and flippant in a lot of ways. We see lots of silliness on social media. We have one-liners going back and forth through memes. We have all kinds of media that is dragging us downward, I believe, in our attention and in our sense of right and wrong and our sense of wisdom. And we need to get back to the truths of God's Word that can help us stay grounded and sober-minded in this culture that we live in. Now, I'm not quite as worried about you because you're listening to a program like the Morning Mindset. You have an awareness in your own heart that you need some help. You need God's truth in your life. And I can be confident of at least that in your case. But let me ask you this. What more do you need to do here as we begin 2020 to get your mind aligned better with God's truth, to be truly sober-minded? Are there disciplines you need to do? Maybe a reading through the Bible in a year program. Maybe some sort of accountability with friends or a group or your spouse. What might that look like for you? I would love to hear your ideas. Please email me, Carrie@carriegreen.com, and tell me some of the things you do to remain sober-minded. And let me know if you're interested in that Dallas-Fort Worth area Morning Mindset meetup.